Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Coming up here in a few days time, we are going to see our next major update within Warzone and Modern Warfare 3, of course known as Season 5 Reloaded, or the mid-season update for Season 5. And this one is going to be significant for a lot of reasons, specifically when it comes to the actual update itself, like the full-on downloads. We'll discuss that in full detail because it's going to be very different from a lot of the other major updates that we've seen. But of course, being a mid-season update, this is also going to include several new patch notes, gameplay changes, other things like that. And while we are still waiting on a full-on release blog or preview for the Reloaded update, we actually already have several early looks at a handful of the patch notes and other changes coming with Season 5 Reloaded, mostly dealing with different bug fixes, a few other gameplay updates here and there, and a little bit of content stuff that does revolve more around physical gameplay changes as well. So as I alluded to, this actual update, the title update associated with Season 5 Reloaded, is going to be very different, and Call of Duty actually previewed why that is in a blog the other day about the COD HQ and some of the updates that they're making with this for Black Ops 6 essentially. If you caught that video, you'll have seen this portion of the blog, but also a lot of people probably didn't see that video, and this is going to be a big deal come Wednesday. I already know when the patch notes drop on Wednesday, there's going to be a lot of comments asking, hey, why is my download massive? Why am I having to download so many different things? So here's the deal. This is what Call of Duty has to say about this physical update with Season 5 Reloaded. With this, there is going to be a new setting added into the game called expanded texture streaming. So they say, in part of an ongoing effort to reduce the file size and download size, with Season 5 Reloaded, we're starting by expanding the usage of our texture streaming. With these capabilities, we can cycle content that is less frequently used by players to a streaming cache, avoiding the need to download it directly on your device's storage. So this update is going to shrink the overall size of the game. With this change, you may see older content that's briefly appearing at lower quality until the streaming cache is fully loaded. The resolution of content streamed from the cache just depends on what setting you have for this. So with this, we're going to see two new settings added in: the optimized default texture streaming, where content appears at a high fidelity graphical quality, but it does require increased internet bandwidth usage, or the minimal option, where content appears at a reduced graphical quality with slightly lower internet bandwidth usage. So this is going to be a big difference in how much the game is actually taking up on your device. So that's big because obviously COD takes up a ton of space. This is a massive game with the COD HQ, depending on how much you have installed. So with this update with Season 5, it's going to be a massive actual download, but by the time it's all done downloading, the game will actually be smaller on your hard drive. So that's definitely good news there. Now, they do share more about the actual download sizes and how this update's going to work, and this is essentially where it's different from ever before. So they say this download is going to be a big one, so expect to spend a decent amount of time downloading Season 5 Reloaded, but downloading will pave the way for several updates, including a better experience with BO6. The initial download is not going to permanently add the stated file size on your hard drive, it's just the download itself. The update is reorganizing game files and adding new tech to prep the way for the full player interface arriving in October. Once complete, COD's footprint will decrease due to these file optimizations, so that's the game getting smaller. Now, PlayStation 5 players, listen up. This is very important. You are going to get the Season 5 Reloaded update with 4 separate downloads. I don't know why that is. It's so weird. They say the initial download will be similar to other updates that are needed before booting up Call of Duty. The next update is going to be triggered within the COD experience, a download when accessing Modern Warfare 3 or Warzone. After the second update is completed, there will be another download when accessing MW3, and then a final download when accessing Warzone. So if you are a PS5, you have to download this update 4 different times essentially. They'll all be varying in size, whereas on Xbox and PC, it's just one single major download. So this is going to be a significant update physically for all platforms, with PS5 just being extra weird. They do say though, because this update is so strange, it's so much larger than normal and annoying on PlayStation, we're going to be giving everyone 10 hours of double weapon XP, 10 hours of base rank double XP, then also 10 battle pass tier skips as well once you log in after Season Season 5 Reloaded. So definitely some important notes there. A lot is changing with this update physically that we just usually don't have. Now, shifting focus to some of the early looks at the patch notes, various other changes and updates coming with Season 5 Reloaded. As we get into this portion of the conversation, quick reminder, if you are new here every single day, I got you covered with all things going on in Call of Duty. So if you want to guarantee you never miss a video and you're always in the know, feel free to hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoy this video, a like rating is always really appreciated. It does help push the video and the channel into the YouTube algorithm a bit more. But as far as some early looks for some updates and some patch notes here, Sledgehammer's actually been pretty active on their Twitter and on their Reddit. So we get a few small gameplay update and change details here. So they do say within Season 5 Reloaded, the quick play modes within Modern Warfare multiplayer are going to have a much more diverse map selection. There are certain maps like Estate or Derail, Rundown, so on and so forth, that just don't seem to appear often or sometimes at all in the quick play rotation. And they do say there's been some limitations going on, but with Season 5 Reloaded, that should be updated, that should be fixed, and there will be more diversity with the map rotation within multiplayer quick play. They also say within Zombies for Season 5 Reloaded, they've got a big fix coming where damage is actually different depending on if you're hipfire or in ADS. That's obviously a huge deal because I know if you're like me, you're spraying and praying into a horde of zombies, you might be transitioning between the two, and hipfire damage is actually glitched and lower compared to aiming down sights damage. So they do say we have a fix for that inconsistent damage coming in Season 5 Reloaded. That's definitely a very big one there for zombies as a whole. They also say that they are currently investigating an issue in multiplayer with Mercado Las Almas just not being in the game right now. It had various different issues going on, and they don't have an update as to when exactly this could return, but more than likely, if it's going to be coming back, it'll be within the Season 5 Reloaded time period. Maybe not right away at the launch of Season 5 Reloaded, but perhaps in some of the weekly updates following that. They do also mention there's a similar case for the Crown Raceway map as well, and they want to have both these maps in the game, but there are various issues going on with them that's causing them to stay out of the game temporarily. They do, however, say we'll share an update when we know more. So if you're a fan of playing those maps in specific, you're wondering why they haven't been around, they are being looked into, and it's possible with Season 5 Reloaded, we do see those return. We also have some early previews on the Trello boards of some of the updates coming with Season 5 Reloaded. As far as a global update goes, they do have a fix scheduled for combat knife blueprints not being visible when equipped. So if you're a big melee fan, they've got a fix incoming for that. The deployable cover still being disabled in multiplayer is definitely one that could be fixed here with Season 5 Reloaded. It's been on the Trello and that's been out of the game for some time. And then also they do mention, as we just talked about, that issue with the inconsistent damage in hipfire within Zombies. On the Warzone Trello board, it's mostly just familiar updates here. Not too much has changed on the Warzone Trello this past first half of the season, really. The only main thing that's realistically on here that we should expect an update to soon is the Skypiercer parachute that actually is currently disabled because it was making all your weapons invisible in game. There's a good chance that'll get fixed. That'll be re-added to the game and you can mess around with that if that's content you're interested in customizing. And of course, with some classic Call of Duty timing, just after I finished recording and uploading this video to get it ready, they also ended up updating the global Trello board here with a couple of other fixes that are scheduled, meaning Season 5 Reloaded should also include some updates to two pistols because there's some glitches going around where you could actually use the akimbo rear grips when you weren't supposed to be able to, like for instance with the Core 45 conversion kit. That was a glitched loadout that was crazy good. They ended up removing the conversion kit for that, so you can't exploit that. And then also on the Renetti, the akimbo rear grip was disabled on that due to an exploit too. So those should be back in Season 5 Reloaded once they are fully fixed, and you can't cheese loadouts out of that. Now, beyond the various bug fixes and other gameplay changes like that Sledgehammer and Raven have previewed over the past few weeks, we also have a couple of other confirmations for other significant updates coming with Season 5 Reloaded. A big one that's going to definitely happen, obviously, is a new weapons update, a new meta update for both multiplayer and Warzone. And with this, you may recall, we've talked about this a lot recently. They did say as we approach Season 6, we're going to see more and more meta updates that end up being like global or more universal style meta updates updates that attack things like MW2 weapons being underwhelming, some of the MW3 underwhelming weapons, and even some MW2 attachments that are just largely useless. There's no guarantee we're going to see every single MW2 and MW3 weapon that's just underwhelming or outclassed be buffed to be more competitive, but they did say in the dev call prior to season 5 that they do have a major meta update coming that's going to basically raise the tide, if you will, and everything's going to become more competitive with the top meta options that we currently have. So definitely would be expecting more buffs than nerfs with season 5 and beyond, you know, leading up to season 6 as well. We also have a couple of new gameplay additions coming to Warzone with Season 5 Reloaded, including the Elite contracts, where these actually end up spawning later on into a match, and essentially with these, they require you to do contracts like scavengers or bounties or whatever quicker, but you get better rewards. You end up getting a like super crate that drops with it, and out of that you can get rewards like an advanced UAV, the Foresight kill streak, redacted weapons that got 8 attachments on them, so they're like just absolute laser beams and super powerful in a lot of different ways. So those will be a lot more accessible here within Season 5 Reloaded. We also have Supreme Resurgence returning as a mode within Warzone, which allows you to come in with your custom guns, and everything in game is like way more enhanced. All the ground loot is like super good blueprints, gold rarity, you know, legendary rarity or whatever. So all the loot is just a lot more competitive, and it makes for a pretty chaotic match, to say the least. Multiplayer also has several different interesting gameplay updates coming as well in the form of modes. Fishfection is going to be infected, but the infected are dressed up as fish, and you hunt them with like bows and spears, since those are going to be some of the new weapons with Season 5 Reloaded. Defuse or destroy is like search and destroy, except the bombs start already planted. You have to go through and defuse them. Paintball is going to be a big gameplay change up because it's actually paintball. It's one-shot weapons. If you get tagged once, you're done. It's velocity of actual paintballs as opposed to obviously the realistic weapons that we've got within Modern Warfare 3 and MW2 right now. So that'll be a fun change up for sure. And then cyber attack is returning as well. They confirmed via our Season 5 dev call. So a lot of mode updates in specific throughout Season 5 Reloaded at launch, then in the weeks following as well. But as for now, those are the main early looks at the various changes, updates, and patch notes coming with Season 5 Reloaded. Of course, as we do see more official information drop on this in the coming days, this will be the place to be to stay up to date with all of that. And then obviously once the update drops on Wednesday and we have all the chaos with all the major downloads and the full patch notes out, I'll be covering all that right as it happens. So stay tuned for that alongside everything else going on in COD by hitting that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like on your way out. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.